trying to hide. Did I tell you that I accidentally wrote in permanent marker? It's
Oh
hilarious.
no. You know, you can get it off with a dry erase marker.
The dry erase. Oh, you mean the magic erase?
No, take a dry erase marker and trace over it right now. Try it.
Well, I'm going to have to because you just told me that.
Because permanent or dry erase markers are permanent markers with a solvent in them that makes them erasable. So if you trace over it, it should erase.
Okay, I just have to just try these 2 letters. That is incredible. Dude, constantly solving problems. I'm gonna have to use that as an example. Okay.
You know me, I'm like, man, if there's a problem, let's freaking solve it, because
Seriously,
why not?
That's incredible. I love that. Okay.
I was baffled when I learned that, and I like have tried it a couple times and it's worked. I'm still, for some reason, like, I don't believe it, but yeah, apparently expo markers are just permanent markers with an erasable solvent. And so when you add it to a permanent marker, it becomes a dry erase marker.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That is like wonderful knowledge. And that's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. We're saying, why should somebody want to work with you? Based on my experience, I can give them a bunch of reasons. So, I don't know. Do you want to throw out like
I'll frame us up a little bit here, just to context and everything. This is our sign-off conversation. So you and I have actually been coaching for longer than I normally coach people for, but we've been working together over a year. So for everyone that watches this, Dr. Shannon was one of my first high-level one-to-one clients. And we started working together because she wanted help with sales. And then we just kind of never stopped because we kept finding things, and I've truly enjoyed working with you. It's been absolutely a pleasure. I know that in the future, we're going to be fast friends. I can't wait to come and visit your farm, because I know that you're doing some great stuff there. Maybe we'll do yoga on there. I'm definitely going to hit up that hot tub. I remember when we first started working together, one of the first things we did was to define success, because you wanted to be successful. And then when we defined successful for you, you realized that you were already successful. And one of the tenets of that was being able to spend a morning in the hot tub with my husband. And boom, we realized that that was something that could be a part of your life. So there's just been so many things that we thought they were so far off, you know, at our initial call, and we were like, that's going to take forever, or that's going to take all this. And then it didn't. And I think that that's a huge testament to your coachability and the growth mindset you have and your willingness to learn. And I don't know if I've ever met anyone with more openness than you have. And I know that you carry that into your coaching practice, into your family, and into even some of the work you've been doing, like in the medical community as well as in schools. So tell us a little bit about you, and then let's talk about your favorite parts and the worst parts of coaching with me.
Absolutely. So Courtney, what a great setup. So to start with, I just want to share that like my love, my passion, and what even got me close to Courtney was that I've been a pediatrician for almost 20 years. And during that 20 years, it was brutal seeing depressed, anxious kids who hated themselves almost every single day. And I felt like I would help one and 2 more would walk in the door. And I quickly realized that it wasn't just them. Like I had my underlying things I needed to work on. And so I went to work on myself to get myself in a healthy place in order to help these kids and these families. And it has been such a long journey. It's really been 10 years that I've been focused on bringing a program to end depression and anxiety in these children and all this overwhelming stress in families. But even if you have solutions and great ideas, getting it out into the marketplace, boom, that's like a whole nother skill set. And so finding out what coaching was, and then realizing that like we live in such an incredible time, you get to pick a mentor. And that's really how I met you, Courtney. I love meeting people. And so jumping online to talk to people, whether I was going to be able to help them solve a problem or them to me, it became very obvious that you had just a massive skill set. And my biggest problem at the time was here was an issue that parents would do anything to help their kids. And I was struggling to use the wording to really inspire them and empower them to step into themselves and lead their family. And, you've just helped me in every way, from creating better offers to defining, getting really clear on what I want. And you use the example of the success right on our first conversation. How many of us are walking around having what we want and not even knowing it? So there you are trying to grab other things without holding on. And I mean, that right there, your clarity, just incredible. And I wrote down, I took some notes before I hopped on, and you helping me see what's right in front of me. And I think so many of us beat ourselves up like, I should be able to do that. I should be able to do this. And it's like, stop it right now. It takes a village. And you're just like this massive Swiss Army knife of tools that it's just even hard to define you. When I tell people about you, I kind of say that you are the epitome of what the new economy is, which is a skill-based, talent-based resume going forward. So like, to look at some of the things we've accomplished together, we have put out programs online live. We put out programs that were recorded to go on. We've created platforms where hundreds of people, parents, come together to learn. I don't even think I told you this earlier today, but based on that platform, Badass Boss Moms on Facebook, I went to a party and a mom came up to me and was like, I know who you are, and was like, you've helped me so much. And like, it just feels so good because we're trying to add value. And I wouldn't have been there had that not been for you and the team. And about a few minutes later, her husband walks in. They had 4 kids, and like, they're all scrambling to get them, but he runs back into the party and he's just like, oh my gosh, I just have to say thank you so much. You had so much to the house. And I'm like, and that's not, I don't pretend that's me. That's everyone that's helped us get here. And so I just appreciate you. So that's one massive thing. It's just your incredible talent set. So if there is somebody out there who is an entrepreneur trying to make a change in the world, and they're like, this is so overwhelming. How do I really refine, get clarity, strategize without judgment? Because you are a person, you're just not a judger. You're just not. We all know that if you feel judged, you start to shut down. Like, nobody wants to be like, well, what were you thinking? We want to hear like, well, that's one way to do it. Let's look at some other ways. So here you are, strategizing. And then another skill set, and again, this is for all of us high-powered people that want to make a change in the world, you got to get called out. And Courtney, you do a great job being like, hey, Shan, this is what you're saying. This is what you're doing. Let's talk about that. And without that, it's real easy to drive down the same road, the same way, without going, wait, is this actually where I want to go? So thank you for your numerous call outs. And for everybody out there listening, there have totally been times where I'm like, Courtney, I'm so mad right now. And she's like, good. Okay. True call outs are sometimes can feel a trigger, but never personal, never, Shannon, this is what's wrong with you as a person. So, and I
remember some of those sessions where you were just like, oh, it's a good thing we're not in person, because I would probably want to punch you right now. It's like, oh, we're getting to the good stuff. Yay. I get oddly excited when people are angry.
Oh, you've given me so many pearls of wisdom, everything from that you get excited with conflict. Like, I love telling people that. I use that all the time. Let's get excited. Conflict isn't bad. Conflict is looking about, it doesn't matter if we disagree, only if we can't see what we disagree on. And that's what conflict is. Let's get clear there.
Yeah, no, I loved a lot of the lessons that you were able to take. And even though we started with like your coaching and the programs that you were building, watching you like fabricate those into your home life was also really beautiful. So, I mean, thanks again for bringing me along on that journey and just being like, remember that thing I was going to talk to a client about? Yeah, I talked to my daughter about it instead. And anyways, everything's better now. Wow.
100%. Because as we know, we don't have like business problems. We almost always have personal problems that bleed into our business. And so you've helped me on every layer, from starting out strategizing company wise to taking that massive tool set you have and bringing it into my children, bringing it into my marriage. And the smoother those are, the more focus I can put on creating that change I want in the world. And that is why you truly are a Swiss Army knife. So, and for anybody else might go, oh my gosh, she's younger than you. She has a totally different skill set than you. And for us people to get so caught up in education, it's like, oh, Shannon has an MD. Courtney, how many 25 degrees do you have? Well, that's the new economy. Your skill set stands out for itself. And it did take me getting on a call with you. Absolutely did. And I would say within about 10 minutes of the call, maybe sooner, maybe 5, Like it was really obvious that you could read people. Your skill set was not just one, it was not superficial, incredibly deep, from finances to tech to really reading humans. Your knowledge into reading people and watching body language is just so impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I genuinely appreciate that recognition, because I know you've been with me through a lot of growth as well. And so I just really appreciate your grace in the different growing pains and learning things. And we did a lot of trial and error, but I feel like we had a lot of trial wins too, where it was just neat to see that much growth. So for anyone out there, I know one of the things that you specialize in is, especially because of your husband, I know you went basically husband hunting, if I'm not mistaken, right? This was your
partner hunting.
Partner hunting. This was your second partnership in life, and you decided to go for what you wanted. And I love that about you. I had a very similar thing when I decided to hunt for my partner. So when you were looking for a partner and just trying to say, which one, what do I want? What skill set? And a lot of that was money. And I love that you and I have always had a very good understanding about money and value exchange. And that's never been a sticking point. But for people that do stick on that, what would you say? If they're like, I don't know if it's worth it, and not just, of course it's worth it, but like really, where was the value that you saw delivered that made you not worry about paying for services like this?
Oh, great way to put that out there, because I can see people go, well, is it really worth it? I could figure it out myself. You know what? And I believe that. I believe anybody can figure anything out. It might take you 80 years. And that's where, for me, it's an easy decision because I know what my time's worth. And more than just, hey, this skill would take me 20 hours to figure out on my own. I can sit down with Courtney for a half an hour and we can break it down and strategize and come up with some ideas like, whoa, right there is easy money. But the other part is a lot of times I wouldn't have those 20 hours. So I would walk around frustrated and angry and irritated and use up a lot of my focus. And therefore, that's what you saved me on. So I like to tell people, like, I absolutely hire a trainer for my body and I'm proud of my body and I got it the way I want it, but that takes work and that takes investment. And there's no difference between saying who has these skill sets I need, who is somebody that can sit down and break it down with me. So I'm not wasting extra exercises, not really refining the muscles I want. And you've taken my brain and refined those muscles. And I have no doubt we will continue to work on different projects and I will continue to refer others to you because you're somebody who you don't want to waste someone's time. You very much value your time, which is also something I'm looking for in business partners. They value their time and they're willing to say, hey, this is within my skill set, or it's within my time for your, for your purposes. Otherwise, let me find you somebody else. And you have found me people to make sure things run smoother many times.
Awesome. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. So one more question. And then if you have more notes, I'm happy to listen to those as well. But I want to know like the ugly side, because I think people have a lot of fears when it's coaching, especially when it's high ticket coaching and when it's with someone who they don't know or they haven't known for a long time. You mentioned like me calling you out on stuff that was hard. Yep. Was there anything else, assuming at this point, since we're still friends and lots of smiles, that there wasn't anything that broke the apple cart, but what were things that were hard? What were moments that you were like, man, I don't know if this is, going to make it?
I would say one of the hard things is it feels similar to right before I work out. Like, I know that it's difficult. Like I ever want to get up and go for a jog? To be honest with you, I rarely ever do. And so there are times before our calls, I don't want to get on. I know it's hard work. Just like clients who talk to me, they won't go past an hour and a half with me or 2 hours because they're like, it's too much. Like my neurons hurt. So I would say that's a pain point that there's days it's hard to get on. But when it's same as working out, I always feel better after. Always. Sure. I always come back with incredible value. And so I would say that's one aspect. Another aspect, it's hard to work on yourself. If it was easy, everybody would do it. The results are so huge. It's just we didn't hear our parents talking about it. My parents sure didn't. And part of this growth is outgrowing a lot of people around you, which some people might not like because it makes them uncomfortable. But the people who are really in this know that discomfort is where the muscles are built. Yeah, that's beautiful. I think another way to say it is like
who is this not good for? I think you're kind of like alluding to that, but if there's someone out there, what would be the attributes of someone who you're like, then do not get in a boat with Courtney?
Okay, great. Absolutely. Who I would not recommend is somebody who wants to just sit around and blame, shame, and complain. Like that, if that's where you want to be, I say pull out a piece of paper and write about it, because I don't know who wants to hear that.
Maybe burn it afterward.
Absolutely go for that. And I would say anybody willing to take action is a good fit for you, who's willing to listen. So if there's somebody who's not willing to take action and who's not willing to be coachable, because you got to be coachable. If I was playing tennis and I went to a coach to work on my swing and I was like, no, my swing's perfect. Like, we're good. So the person that absolutely would thrive from you is that person who's like, hey, I feel stuck on this. I'm frustrated and I respect my time. I value my time. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I want somebody to help me make that change I want to see in my life.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'll let you, what else did you have on your notes there?
Okay. I definitely
always take great notes. I mean, maybe it's the training, but my goodness, I always trust that.
Yeah, please. I will never forget after our first call, how much you broke down, like what we had discussed, what we talked about. I referred back to that many times, as well as I record our calls, because that's how valuable they are. And the vast majority, I have gone back, listened, took notes, because I'm paying for it. I'm paying for it. That's money right there on the table. And I'm gonna use it and up level. So I was talking about your massive, I'm kind of just hitting the notes, the massive different skill sets, from finance to understanding people to company structure to managing people, just this massive skill set, to working with kids, so it's really impressive. Next, you're really able to assimilate a lot of information. So I would come at you with like new setups of things that I felt overwhelmed with, and you'd be like, I can put that together. I can figure that out, and we can strategize out from there. Also, you're a risk taker, as far as you very much assess when to take the risk. And I think so many people get stuck behind waiting for perfect to take a risk. And so it's another huge, huge positive about you saying somebody can sit around, take in all the data, all the information, and just sit there, and you're willing to go, what are we going to try? Let's do it. Let's go for it. And so you very much, it's just a huge skill. And then, saying I'm going to work with you again, because there's no doubt in my mind. And I just say, I'm grateful for what you add to the world. The stuff on tapping that you do, some of your podcasts, like you just really are adding a lot of value to the world, and gives me hope for the future. And that ties into what I'm doing. And my big last thing was, you're truly helping me create the change I want to see in the world. I want to see these families leading themselves, these children leading themselves, so we can all work and collaborate together to make this world better. And that's what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I have no doubt in my mind. And thank you very much for your kind words. I mean, the point of these is kind of just informative and like a look inside. And I always feel a little bit uncomfortable, because I'm like, these are just calls about me, but people don't know that. And I obviously don't always want to just talk about myself. So hearing other people's perspective on it is incredibly valuable, I believe, to those that are interested in working with me. I would say also for those that are interested in working with you. I mean, anyone that I coach, I want them to be at my level when we're done. Like all of my clients graduate at some point, and at that point I want to look next to me and see another warrior who can fight just as hard as I do. And I feel like I have that in you, of somebody who I would happily refer anyone with kids, especially if there are issues going on that are just beyond what you can make sense of. Because I think you have a real knack for systems and just a real gift of perception into what's really going on here. What's really going on here? And you don't put up with much bullshit, which is important when the patterns that are destroying families become so apparent that everyone's willing to go through and like spend money and spend time to change them. That's a pretty high level of pain. And when there's that much pain, you don't have time to waste on, well, maybe if we just do like anti-violent parenting, like it's not a one answer. You're going to need it all. You're going to need nonviolent communication. You're going to need systems. You're going to have to understand parenting through the history. Like just the wealth of knowledge you have on it, I think is huge. So to anyone who watches this, that's like, I want to work with Shannon, please do. Dr. Shannon is amazing. And if you have a family and you're trying to up level that family and just get it to where you want it to be, there's nobody better out there. I work mostly with individuals. I do sometimes work with younger people. I had the privilege of doing a couple sessions with Dr. Shannon's daughter, and that was great. You know, I mean, teenager, they are just fun to watch. It's not always in my like absolute like perfect skill set, but there's always room to explore. But if you have kids, oh my goodness, yes. And as far as I know, Dr. Shannon, you are moving on, right? Like you're not doing pediatrics anymore. You've mostly moved into
Correct.
this coaching and teaching and presenting space, right? I think we were planning on you doing a TED Talk in the near future. Is that still on the docket?
That's still on the docket. I'm excited for that. And thank you for all the kind words you said. And I mean, I'm just so passionate about it. Like I know when I was struggling, it was like I wanted Super Nanny to move into my house. And as a pediatrician, I thought my job was going to be easiest to reach the kids. Once we changed the parents' mindset, kids change so fast. It's incredible. And yes, I trust your skills enough that I had you work with one of my teenage children. Absolutely. And it had benefit, no doubt. I would do it again in a heartbeat. And so that is another showcase of your incredible wealth of knowledge. So I love that we both are so passionate about creating that change and exchanging value. You know, I know that the better you do, the better a family does, the better I do. Yeah. So bring it on.
Absolutely. No, I'm very excited, and I can't wait to stay in touch in the future. You know that if you never ever need anything, you know where to find me. You probably have my home address at this point, but I really do look forward to it. Please keep us posted. If you ever want, we'll push something out to the network here and let everybody know when you're doing classes, because I just think everybody needs this. I think the value that I'm bringing and the value that you're bringing, like now's the time. We're getting ready to go into 2022 here, and like, oof, we are exploding and everything. I mean, you have knowledge we didn't even hit on today, like everything you know about crypto and things like that. So if you're looking to learn, you should be talking to one of us, because I just feel like the amount of knowledge in this room and the amount of experience is something I wish everyone could have. And just to share in this space has been a real honor. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we've struggled before. We know how much it's not fun. And so to say, hey guys, there's tools out there to get you there faster, and it's a deal and a half because it's way better than the struggle and the length of time. I'm grateful for you to help me get the word out there. Yeah. And I'm grateful to see you grow and continue to bring in those high level clients that is who you need to be working with, people that really are ready to make a move. And it's just, you're impressive to make those moves with. There's never a moment where I'm like, Courtney's on this, then I'm questioning if it will get done or how. I know it's going to rock.
Oh, it's going to get done. Oh, we're going to get stuff done. We ain't got time for anything else.
Exactly. All
right. Well, with my twang coming out, that's probably time for us to wrap up. So I'm going to stop this recording now, and until next time.
Okay. Thank you much. Bye all.